Alright, hi guys, what's up? So this is an original Christian rock channel. I'm just going to create a song from scratch. I already came up with an idea before I came in and turned on the camera, so it's a little bit flushed out already. Not too much, I just kind of have like an idea for a main guitar part and harmony. There's going to be a little bit of harmonizing going on. Nothing super complicated, but I'm probably going to do this in D major. I got my tuner on. I'm going to do this D major 7, and I'm going to do a bit of a tapping thing here. So it's like, I'm actually just going to start right with that B note. Kind of like that. Yes, I played that terribly. And then I'm going to just hold for a little bit and then go. And do it like a tapping thing, but on the other side I'm going to just do the chords and be doing. So then when I get to the chorus, I'll do. And I might do some stuff over that. Possibly that same verse riff, the tapping part, except I'll do it up an octave higher. That should be pretty much it. I don't know what I'm going to do for the bass guitar or the drums or the vocals yet, but I at least have that. So let me start playing it. I've got a tempo going and my usual drum loop that just plays throughout. And if you're new, that's going to be replaced by me actually playing a part, but it's there just to keep time for now. And it's a little bit boring, but it's still better than just a click. Like a robotic click sound. Okay, so yeah, let me get this going and see how it sounds. Okay, so now for the right side. I was doing this D major 7. I think I'm just going to go up to this F sharp minor 7 and throw that on there. And then I'm just going to do the same notes for the tapping. But these are all going to be a third up, so should create a cool texture. Then when I get to that tapping part in the verse, I'm just gonna go. I already showed you that. The chorus I'm just gonna double because I'm gonna then layer it with some more stuff. I switched guitars, as you can see. I'm going to do just some extra stuff. I put some delay on the first 2 guitars. Just kind of want a washed out, really cool echoey sound for this song. This one is not going to have echo, just to kind of like balance it out. Okay, so now I'm going to do a right side. I keep doing way too many guitars, but I kind of love doing it, so. It's starting to sound pretty cool. I'm going to do another side. I gotta chill out because I keep adding stuff. So I was like gonna just do the chorus, and then in the verse I was doing like volume swells, but whatever. It's improv. Here I go. Now I'm going to improvise a guitar solo. It's D major. Bass guitar. The bass went pretty well, so the drums are up next. I'm just going to move the camera over, sit down, and start playing those. Testing the microphone. Okay, so I got lunch. I'm all full. Got a big belly from it. Anyway, I typed up some lyrics. I have a rough idea for a melody. I was doing a bit of a test run here, and I kind of have it for reference in case I completely forget what I was just singing. But to avoid that, I'm just going to start right away and see if I can just plow right through the whole song, and then I'm going to decide if I want to throw any harmonies on after the fact. So my words are scarce to me. It's my words. We do it all over. I know it wasn't wild. It's all over. I was just messing around with a couple harmony ideas, and nothing was really, like, catching my ear, so I said, screw it. I'm just going to leave it as is. So it's done. The lyrics will be in the description box, and they're always about my Christian faith. You're going to find a Linktree link in the middle that's just going to take you out to where you can purchase and stream my music. And then the very top link goes to Faith Center. The website is actually PastorMelissaScott.com. She's the pastor there. She took over from her late husband, Dr. Gene Scott. It's like 50 years worth of teaching if you check it out. So it's really good stuff. And I provide that because as a Christian, I know it's really hard to find good teaching, and a lot of people completely miss the point. So that's just like, you know, the thing. And I always kind of give a little bit of an explanation because, like, I feel like people don't even actually know what being a Christian even entails, which usually they think of it as like rites, rituals, ceremonies, and that sort of thing, or a bunch of like super judgmental people and what have you. But what it actually is it's just a relationship with God built on trust, faith, love. You realize that what God did for us on the cross is the only thing that redeems us, because all of us, from the day we're born into a sin nature that started from the very first people who fell. They were deceived, and the lie was that by knowledge of good and evil, you can be like God, and that you wouldn't die. So we all die, and in spite of knowing good and evil, we don't actually do it. We all fall short. We can't live up to the standard, so we can't have a righteousness of works because we all fall short of that standard, and everybody has, with one exception, that being Jesus. So Jesus had a righteousness of works. He's the only one that fulfilled the law completely. Because he was unblemished, he was able to do what the Old Testament refers to as the kinsman redeemer, where he could redeem us and pay for our debt. So that's what he did. And with sin comes death, and the life is in the blood. So that's why the blood atonement on the cross. So we're basically getting our debts wiped out by someone who can afford it, that's willing to do so. All of us are in this sin nature. We can't help but be sinners. And people confuse sinning with the trespasses. Trespasses are stuff you know about. There's also sins of ignorance. But the state of just being a sinner, we aren't sinners because we sin. We sin because we are sinners. It's the state we're in, and there's no getting out of it, save for one way, which is looking to Jesus in faith. And the thing is, we can't have a righteousness of works, but we can have a righteousness of faith, and God imputes Jesus' righteousness onto us through that faith. And faith is basically like a conduit, a connection to God, through which he gives us the Holy Spirit. And then it's the power of God that starts changing us. And people get this all confused. They think they have to atone for all of their sins and confess to everybody and do all this nonsense. That's not how it actually works. When you read the Bible, God does the calling. We respond. We hear the word. By hearing comes faith. Faith connects you to God. God starts changing you. So it's the power of God that starts changing you. You don't change yourself, because doing that is just will worship and doing it in the flesh. If you do that, you might make small changes, but it's only temporary, and it's not a complete change, because a miss is as good as a mile. It's not like a balancing of the scales thing. It's just that you have faith in God, and God starts changing you, and it's a process until the day you die. So people get that all mixed up. Some people think, oh, it's like a one-time thing, and it's instantaneous, and now I never sin. Well, they're lying, so they already are. The other thing is people think you can do it by works, and you don't do it by works. Even like Jamesian stuff, where people take like James, because his is a little bit confusing, but you have to understand, it's not works that are saving you. It's faith, that connection to God, God changing you, and the works that come out of it might be something. But it's different for each person, and it's like fruits to God. It's not for us. It's not for us to look good, for us to have any kind of glory. It's all for God. And if it's not, that's when you can tell it's, when it's people-centric or like social issues-centric, or you trying to be more righteous than you were centric, that's when you can tell it's all a bunch of garbage, because everything should just be focused on Jesus, on God. That's it, not on you. Like, I'm not worried about my own righteousness, because I have none. Nobody does. All of our righteousness is as filthy rags. None of us can measure up to the standard. I just trust God. And as I keep trusting God and keep continuing in the faith, God keeps changing me. And as you do that, you become more interested in the things of God and less interested in the things of the world. So all of those things you had addictions to, and or what have you, and I just say addictions because it's something people can relate to, but it's like a lot of stuff. It's just like our very nature. It all starts to kind of fade away because you don't care about it anymore. And when you don't care about it, it's easy to let it go. I say easy because we're always going to be tempted, but it's not easy. It's actually a grueling process until the day you die. You're constantly being changed. So don't let those one-time people fool you, because pistis in Greek, action, verb, ongoing, and continuous. When Paul was saying that we're sealed, it's if we continue in faith and keep acting in faith. So that's the thing. Anyway, though, check out the link for good teaching. Really great stuff. I highly encourage you to do so. And you're going to hear some stuff you've not heard almost anyone else say. Another thing people always skip is like the giving principle, which is super important. And people will be like, oh, you mean like charity and stuff? No, absolutely not. What I mean is when you hear teaching, you pay the teacher. There's, that kind of thing. It is totally different from charity and whatnot. A lot of times when they say charity in like the King James, it's actually agape in Greek, which is love. So they kind of screw that up. I think it's like an old English thing. So maybe originally it was fine, but not so much anymore. Confuses people now. That's like a big thing, because Jesus, say like with the woman and her 2 mites, or like the woman in that had the alabaster box, I can't speak, with the ointment in it, disciples, I think specifically Judas, saying, why this waste? But he was saying, she did a nice thing for me, leave her be, and wherever the gospel's preached, tell what this woman did for me. Jesus is encouraging giving. Giving is throughout the whole Bible. The original tree in the garden, God's percentage, don't touch. His ability to do so represents God's ability to say, hey, I'm in charge, I have authority, and we recognize God's authority. The very first thing in the Bible that happened, like as far as like an offense, like a murder, Cain and Abel, was over giving. And then you have Abraham giving to Melchizedek. And then first thing Moses does when he comes off the mountain, now about the collection, So it's all the way through. What was the thing then Malachi that he's railing against because Israel wasn't doing? Giving. They were robbing God in tithes and offerings all the way through. In the New Testament, we have Jesus talking about that woman, and he says, like, as far as the tithes, you should have done it. And then in Paul, he's talking about paying the teacher, and that kind of being like the New Testament version of the burnt offering. And you had like the koinonia communities that they set up. So giving is very important, but people try and do gimmicks and sell you stuff, and just so that's a really important thing in there, and they're one of the only people that are teaching it correctly, and probably like within the last 2,000 years, because a lot of people mess this up right from the beginning. That's what Paul is telling Corinth when he's writing in the correction letters, and he's saying like the Macedonian Christians, they were giving out of their deep poverty, but the Corinthians were all hyped up on their spiritual gifts and looking at themselves and not at God. And you're probably wondering, why should I give to God? But the thing is, it's not about giving to God. God has no needs, but it's teaching us stewardship, responsibility, and recognition of God's authority. That's what it's about. So, interesting stuff. Check it out. If you like the music, subscribe, like, comment, share, and I'll keep making the videos. And for now, I'll see you later. Bye.